talk to this bloke. Everybody knows Harry Peacock. He's the H, we call him. He is a historian of this great city. He's got a website, allthewobblies.historyouthere.com. G'day, Harry.
G'day, Danny. How you going?
Remember those days, Harry, around behind the handball courts? A bit of a touch-up if you're a pain in the neck.
Well, that's right. There might actually be a connection here with your mate, Matt Malone.
Matt Malone.
That betting scandal. Yeah.
Well, Matt used to run a book. He's the only bloke who repeated senior 3 times. And when the brothers wanted to smack him when he was 18, he said, "You're not going to give me the strap, brother, because I'm 18 and I can vote."
Well,
this is
well, what are the odds against that?
And Matt became very successful, believe it or not. Anyhow, look, mate, let's talk about this. There's 2 anniversaries of sport in Ipswich coming up.
Yeah, that's right. The first one was a controversial sculling race on the Bremer River, which happened in 1870. That's it's exact 150 years ago this week.
Well, we're not going to. We've got to be careful. We're not talking about standing at a bar drinking beer. That's sculling. You're talking about sculling.
No, again, very different, Danny.
Yeah, explain what we're doing.
On boats, a one person, two paddles out each side, to put it down in the simple man's language, Danny.
That was on the Bremer River?
Yeah, that's right. It was between 2 railway hands, Charlie Betts and Jim Charlton, in 1870. It was from a steamer called Leone that was moored under the railway bridge, down to Basin Pocket and back. Now, Betts went first and did it in 18 minutes. Charlton broke one of his sculls, but got a second go and won by 1 minute and 15 seconds. Now, it drew quite a crowd on the bridge and starting point, but the controversy broke out afterwards when it was suggested that Betts and Charlton were actually paid £5 each, which wasn't a dumb thing back then, and that there was actually betting involved. That's where your mate Matt
Maloney
might be involved. Yeah, that's right.
Just on saying that, some smart radio station should come up with that and relive that and get that happening again.
That would be a great idea, Danny. We'll have to try and find one.
Yeah.
But it caused great public outrage at the time, especially when it was suggested that one of the organisers was Harry Evans, who happened to be the chairman of the Ipswich Temperance Society. So, Danny, there was definitely no sculling of your type going on there.
Now, what about the first team to wear maroon to be a Queensland team? Is that what it's about here in Ipswich?
Yeah, that's right. Now, it's an anniversary 125 years ago that everyone forgot last month. It was on the 10th of August 1895 when the Queensland rugby team beat New South Wales 26-16 at the Showgrounds in Brisbane. Now, Queensland trailed by 2 points with 20 minutes to go, but then ran in 4 tries to win by 10 points. Now, only one of the stars that day, or one of the stars, was a champion Ipswich footballer, Steve Welsh, who scored a try and kicked the conversion. Now, I do want to make a call out to Steve Welsh's great-grandson, Sam, who's an avid listener of us here on West Bremer Radio every Saturday morning.
Is that right? What a great story. And of course, they're the Queensland Reds now. It would have been rugby union, wouldn't it have been?
Exactly right, yep. It was rugby union. It was a crowd somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000, depending who you believe. Yes,
and I know that years ago when the British Lions toured here, the British Lions actually toured through Ipswich and played a game in Ipswich 80 or 90 years ago, and the crowd was massive. And a British Lions captain died whilst on tour. Did you know that?
Well, it's a tough game, Danny. That I wouldn't be so. In fact, in this game between Queensland and New South Wales, New South Wales actually lost a player to injury in the first half.
Right.
Queensland captain graciously offered to give them one of our players.
Right.
They refused and lost.
And nothing's changed. We can't stand the bludgers below the border. And that thing happening at Coolangatta, let's keep it going. That's what I say. Keep them, just filter them through so they don't congest our roads. All right, Harry, now what's your website?
HistoryOutThere.com. In fact, there's a good story about that sculling race that'll be going up there today.
Mate, I'm not making this up. We get a lot of feedback, and your history stories are brilliant, and they're exclusive to this little radio station. We're going to a break. West Bremer Radio, it's 8:18. We're live.